What a wonderful opportunity is availed to his pastor, my brother deacons, with 2 members of our parish, to be able to share with you the intimacy of the Mass, each in your own homes, to ponder the Scripture, to witness the love of Jesus manifest in the breaking of bread. You've often heard me say the homilies I preach are because I too need to hear the message. Hearing and learning is not something once done for all time, but we hopefully continue learning throughout our lives, not just of our profession to help us engage more professionally in it, but also when it comes to the work of the soul and the heart. And so we might read many books and many more books because we want our heart to be in tune with the heart of God. I first recall preaching on this Sunday with these readings. First time back in 1978, when I was a deacon in St Anthony's Church near Manchester Airport in England. And when I look back on those early days of, first of all, ordination to diaconate and then to priesthood, I hardly recognize myself as that same person. It is known that the number of cells contained in the human process are completely renewed every 7 years. And there's something very amazing about the body in which each of us inhabit. And so I hope that as a people of God, that each one of us is renewed, particularly during this trying and testing time. I come from a particular family, like all of you, born at a particular time and in a particular place. And of course, I'm sure like you, it certainly marked me emotionally and psychologically in many ways in which I'm beginning to understand more clearly. But know that they don't define who I am. The life we've been given is a life to be lived. Not like the 2 main characters in Beckett's play, Waiting for Godot, and subtitled in English, a tragic comedy in 2 acts. The characters spend all of their time discussing the meaning of life, not realizing that life is passing them by. Life is to be lived and not kept for some future event that might never come. In the person of Jesus, we see and witness the one who is all about living. His ultimate giving and living was from the cross, totally giving of himself as the ultimate sacrifice in a new and eternal version of Passover. Giving of self, even today, in our contaminated world, is still a challenge to live. And we know and we witness to so many people who do it fearlessly, even in the face of death. And one giving is done in a new and eternal version of Passover. It's done in such a way that the giver who gives of his life in little and large ways is also changed. John Shea said, "Sacrificers are fed by their own sacrifice." This is the great secret we seldom see. There is more love in it. There is more love when it is given away than when it is kept. More love for the one who gave it and also for the ones who receive it. in this world, it certainly is in scarcity. In today's gospel, two men, one known by name, Cleopas, and one unnamed, walking along the road with hearts downcast. I'm sure that many people have been touched in these days by the present virus and the close down that's happened to so many in so many of our cities and states. At this time of year, many endings are celebrated with graduations, and so many have been cancelled to be celebrated in a quieter and a smaller way. I'm sure that many sharing with us this Mass are in mourning for hopes that have been dashed. If so, please know that you are in good company with Jesus' travelling companions along the road. A companion is indeed a godsend. Let me tell you about Father Jim. He taught me as a seminarian pastoral theology and introduced me to a beautiful way of engaging with people and accompanying them in their walk. There was a 5-year period after ordination that I didn't see him, a particularly dark period in my life, experiencing a profound sadness and a loss of direction. I was in a very poor parish. The people there had tremendous faith and I had high aspirations. During my 5 years there, I was on to my 3rd pastor. I was an associate. Questions that had always been with me were not being assuaged by working hard or by prayer. I hadn't spoken to Jim for 5 years, but I dared to pick up the phone to tell him about my plight. He was in far northeast of England and I was in the northwest. We met in the middle, York. And we walked around the racetrack where Pope John Paul only a year earlier had celebrated Mass for all married couples. And I shared with him, with tears in my eyes, my own sadness and my own sense of a lack of direction. He certainly was a wonderful companion as we walked in the rain and in the mud. It was my own Emmaus story. We need travelling companions to share our stories because we're not meant to go it alone. Faith is the ability to look into our hearts and daring to share it with another. We'll hold that as valuable and a reflection of the love of God. And on that day, on that dull day, so familiar in the northeast of England, my heart was lightened by sharing what was in it. And so I hope that like Cleopas and his companion, I hope that like me, back 30 plus years ago, our lives will be changed by the stories that we're living, the stories that we will tell, acknowledging that sometimes we are on the wrong road, going in the wrong direction. But every wrong road can have a crossroads. And I pray that every one of us, when we get to that crossroads and the decisions to be made, that we have the courage to share it with another Father Jim. Please like, subscribe or comment below.